We are back. You're now listening to IBGR.network, and IBGR is our call sign as a radio station. But of course, we are far more than a radio station. We are actually, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, a network of global entrepreneurs coming together to create a shared space for collaboration and business success. Your success. And I'm your host, Jan Roberts, the Inspirational Entrepreneur, and this is episode 11 already in season 4. We're near the end of it, and today I'm talking into values include valuing your people, the importance of values in business and your life, and the importance of how people feel, whether they feel valued when they walk away from you. It's very important. And, it's important all the time, but especially here too. And when I just finished off, I said that, what we're going to talk about is the values and the importance for you as an entrepreneur and a business owner in your life, as well as your social circles. And in the end, I will also finish off with a set of entrepreneurial values I found from the native Indians in North America. Very interesting, but that's in session number 4. I'll talk into there's a set of 7 entrepreneurial values, and we can all live by them and be a lot better off. So that's where we're going anyway. But excuse me. I will start a bit by giving you some background on values and how they impacted me in the most positive and powerful way. That's why I'm so excited to talk about this, and I've got to be very careful of that clock, because this is something that I can talk about because it is so important to me. Now, I never ever gave values much of a thought. Yes, of course, being brought up by amazing parents, all 5 of us children were taught values to live by. But as life progressed into adulthood, I always did and still do my very best to uphold all those values. Do I succeed every day? No doubt I don't. And that's why I need a constant reminder to keep making those small adjustments to keep me on course, just like an autopilot does on a plane. It's all these little touches to keep them there, because if the autopilot goes off, if the plane just went off without an autopilot making that adjustments, eventually would end up somewhere totally different, depending on how long the flight was. But human beings have to be the same. But does that mean I'm a bad person? Well, I certainly don't think so. But because I strive to do my best and add value to others as often as possible. It just means that, yes, believe it or not, I'm also human. We do make mistakes, some of them worse than others, but not intentionally so. And the thing about values, as I will talk into, as you become more aware, because we have got a values-based leadership program that I'll talk about just now as well. But once you become aware, and we don't teach values, I call it a reawakening of the awareness of values. Because we've all heard them, but do we really know what they mean? So once you become aware of something, once it's in there, it never leaves you. Then you have to make a choice. That's why some people don't want to know what's happening out there, because then they might have to make a choice. And if they don't make it, they know they could have. That's a whole different story altogether. But things changed for me in 2013, when values were responsible for me to step out of the corporate and into the entrepreneurial world. Now, no, I did not kill my boss, although giving him a slap has crossed my mind several times. But I was just privileged to be part of a team to take part in a start of transformation of the beautiful country of Guatemala. For the first time, I came across the most powerful and impactful program I have ever experienced, called values-based leadership. Values-based leadership, yeah. Now, we were really asked to go. We were going somewhere to do some things with some people at some time. That was the only things we got, and 150 people followed. It was Paul Martinelli, from the president of the John Maxwell team. But John Maxwell had a dream of helping to start transformation of entire country. So he says, "Can we go? Do you want to come and help start a transformation of the country of Guatemala?" Now, I'd never been asked before. I thought I'd never been asked again. But we went, and that's what really happened. When you are looking And we all, I think, at some point, especially the younger generation now, they're not so much like they're looking more at a life-work balance, whatever that really looks like. For the older generation, it's difficult to understand because we always keep working and working and working, and then we're looking for a promotion and a pay rise, and that's all it is. But it's not like that anymore. I mean, terrible things are happening in the workplace right now. But how about significance? See, I always talk about it, and I need to mention it here because what John Maxwell said already when I first met him in 2012, once you've tasted significant, success will never be enough. I did not have a clue what that was all about. But when I went to Guatemala and we experienced this process for the first time, I for the first time really understood what significance was all about, because I saw it in the people's eyes. I saw it in the way they were so grateful for us coming to help them. I saw it. The whole experience was all about significance. I felt it, I experienced it, and I saw it, so much so that on the way home, as I said, I quit my job. And since then, I became a specialist in these values. Arthur, my partner, and I are two of the few specialists in the entire Africa. But we have been specialists, and in this process, we actually renamed it as a sustainable personal development, because so many people, when we talk about values now, they already shut up, oh, that's for somebody else. Then we talk about leadership, and that's also for somebody else. And here we are. So we're all leaders. We all have values. Whether we all live by them, that's another thing, and whether we all understand them. That's really what I'm into to talking into just now, because we need to really get that in. But in 2013, that happened. In 2016, that we went to Paraguay. We trained 19,000 leaders from all walks of life in 2013, and Guatemala was changing so much so that 22 countries around them, including their presidents, asked by letter for us to come and do similar things in their countries. Then we went to Paraguay in 2016, another amazing experience. Now these countries, they have Guatemala had 14 million people, average age 20, so you can imagine the disaster zone that was in. Paraguay, 7 million people, average age 21, not much better. But went into these countries. Costa Rica in 2018, where we didn't go because Arthur and I went to Ireland in 2018 to help start Lift Ireland, to help support Lift Ireland from a dear friend of us, Johan Hessian, who had another vision after these transformational things. And people say Ireland, but that's a Western country. No. Every country has failures of values, and we can all step up individually, because we always talk about be the change you want to see in the world. Well, have to have a look in the mirror and see how we can change. And one of the best things we can do is build our own foundation of values and pass that on to our family and our children and our communities. And that's what this is all about. That's why it's so powerful. And of course, at the moment, Arthur and I are also involved in the process of Transformation Lebanon. It's started enrolling over the last year, and it's starting to get some traction now, and it's going to be beautiful what's happening in the country already, and even more beautiful how it will progress. But that's in entire countries. So if basic human values can have such an impact on entire countries, and I never even mentioned Colombia yet, because everybody thinks it's drugs and violence and murders and all that. Yes, they've still got problems, but in 25 years that country became a tourist country, recognized as, which most of us don't know because we only see the bad news, and that is because of this foundation of values. There's amazing stories going on there too. But if that happens in countries, what do you think they could do for you as an entrepreneur and your business, if it can impact and change the culture and positively impact entire countries? What are your values as an entrepreneur? How do you treat others around you? If your family and friends were asked those kind of questions about you, would you be proud of the answers they come up with? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Well, we have all heard about treating people right, not just because we want them to buy from us, as that is leaning much more towards manipulation, but because they are our fellow human beings. And for that we have heard a quote, treat others as you want to be treated, but I change that, treat others as they want to be treated. Because if you don't want to be treated positively and nicely, that doesn't mean you have to treat other people badly. It's not about hurt people. So treat others as they want to be treated. And that's very important. Now, what would actually happen to our business if we just started to work on improving relationships built on solid foundations of basic human values? Now, don't we all know that people will do business with those they know, like, and trust? Well, there's a value at the end of it right there. And you can take any of the three away. If they don't know you, they might still do business with you, maybe once off, but I'm talking especially long term. When they get to know you, then it better be good. Then they get to like you. I talked into that in networking as well with Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, who came to us at the John Maxwell team and gave us a great way to actually learn to network with people. And the first one is to be interested in people, and then talk about what talking generally, and then eventually talk about money. About your business, but don't start handing business cards out and all that kind of stuff, because that is not on a know, like, and trust basis. That is I want you to buy from me basis. So, and I need to keep an eye on this. I almost do this 45 seconds. How do I do it? But I'm going to repeat this. People of value value people, and that is very, very important throughout all of this, because if you have no values, Arthur always says you can't give what you don't got. But I mean, I'll anglify that a little bit, if that's even a word. It is now. You can't give what you haven't got. So that means it's in every area. You can't love others fully if you don't love yourself. You can't value other people enough if you don't even value yourself. I mean, we are in a crossroad just now where self-esteem is an absolute disaster. And I talk into it in my self-care series. This is in week 6 now, that I every day during the week on the Key Leadership Institute page, Facebook page, I do a session on self-care. But it is so important. We need to value ourselves, and then we need to learn to build that value system. So don't go away if you're on the radio. We will be back in a few minutes after the break. Take care.